Good morning. Yeah, wide-eyed here. You can see my reflection in my glasses. See? Yeah. Good morning. It's Cassidy, and it's 7:35 in the morning. Yeah. Yeah, I've actually been up since about 5 this morning, and I'm playing with my hair, which I always do. Uh, got to get it adjusted right. There we go. That's the nice thing about having a wig. It's like, oh, I got to get my hairline centered. Um, but it's also a pain in the butt. It's been rubbing me badly. I've had a rash up here for a couple of days, and I've been watching my hair as it's growing in, and it's still spotty in the areas it used to be. So I'm beginning to wonder if growing my hair out is really going to be worthwhile. We'll see. It's going to take, I have to let it go for like another month or so before I'll be able to determine whether or not anybody will be able to do anything with those bald spots that I've got. I really would like to have my own hair. I really would. And I don't know. We'll see. I was told by someone who is a beautician that if you go to the right places, they can do wonders. They have taken women who have like almost no hair, like male pattern baldness almost, and have fixed them up really well. So we'll see how it goes. But like I said, I'm gonna need about another month before I can even tell. It's just maybe even longer than that. Maybe like another 2 months. I may have to go the entire winter growing my hair out. Oh boy, it's not gonna be fun. So it's a busy day for me today. Scratching my nose. It's a busy day for me. About 2 hours or so, I'm gonna go get my nails done. Finally, get them changed, and then after that, I'm gonna head over to the headquarters for the election, and around 11:45 or so, I get to meet Madeleine Albright, who, if you are unaware of history, she was the first female Secretary of State. So I will. She was the first female Secretary of State under the first Clinton presidency. I'm just gonna keep saying that, the first Clinton presidency, uh, because the pussy groper, the pussy grabber, President Pussy Grabber, as Bill Maher called him the other day, last night actually. Yeah, he's kind of tanking hard, and but we have a huge get out the vote process. We're starting actually this today. There's going to be a huge canvassing effort in Harrisburg here, and I'm going to work the phone bank for a couple of hours this afternoon. And then I was told when I come in next Tuesday, we're actually going to have 2 hours of training for the get out the vote process. So they said, it's a really good thing you're going to be here because we're going to, train you. We're not letting up. I mean, even though right now we're showing a 6 to 10 points up in Pennsylvania, we're actually pushing even harder than before because the down ballots are important to us. And our Democratic candidate for the Senate is now up actually about a point on the incumbent senator, whereas about a month ago she was actually down about 5 points. So it's been a dramatic turnaround, and now everybody's beginning to see like panic on the Republican side because they're starting to realize that, yeah, they hitched themselves to a really bad wagon. And given that the other day he was using dog whistles for Hillary's conspiring with the Jews to take down the United States. Yeah, that as we like to paraphrase, as I like to paraphrase from The Walking Dead, you went full Nazi. You never go full Nazi. It's actually paraphrasing from Tropic Thunder, but I'm not going to say what Robert Downey Jr. said in Tropic Thunder. We tend to go from The Walking Dead where we say, you went full Shane. You never go full Shane, which means you just went completely nuts and did something you shouldn't have done. So, yeah, you went full Nazi. You never go full Nazi. No. And then, actually, tonight, I'm running. I'm the guest of honor. I'm actually going to run a web broadcast that's running off of Facebook. It's an event that we're running, and I will be speaking. I think right now I have about 25 participants. I will be speaking to people who are going to log on and give them my wit and wisdoms on world building, because for some reason people seem to think I'm an expert on world building. Go figure. I'm not really. There are people who are masters of it. I just dabble. What can I tell you? And but no, I was asked a few weeks back. I haven't really said much about it, but I was asked a few weeks back if I would do this. And I said, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Kind of nervous about it because I feel like I'm going to get up there and just be this rambling idiot. I'll have Toothless with me back here, though. You can see, yeah, Toothless is peeking around back there. Yeah, Toothless. So that's going to happen at 8 p.m. tonight Eastern. Yeah, be lots of fun. I just hope I can do it. I'm kind of nervous. I still have to do a little bit of research, but I'm all right. I'll be okay. I should be out of the phone bank by about 2 p.m. I'll probably get lunch, early dinner after that, and then come home, take a nap, and get ready for my web presentation. And then tomorrow, Rachel and I will be doing another video for our what we want to see and what we predict for Walking Dead Season 7, which, given how much we liked the finale for Season 6, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of cursing in that video. We've already both said, oh yeah, there's going to be some massive cursing. Yeah, I'm just putting that disclaimer out there now. If you watch that video, which should be up either late Sunday night or early Monday morning, but if you watch that video, yeah, it's gonna be a couple of potty mouth women. Well, Rachel has an excuse. She's from Australia, so. Which was one of the best lines in Sense8, where Riley Blue, oh God, I can't think of the Millicent Tupperson, I believe is the actress's name. She's playing Riley Blue, the Sense8 in London, and she runs into a friend actually who's with this woman, and the male friend, is actually the one who plays Nick on Fear the Walking Dead. He was slumming for a bit in London, but he gets to speak in his actual voice, so you hear his real English accent. There's another, LA Junkie being played by an English kid, an English kid whose father actually played Stannis Baratheon on Game of Thrones. So, acting's in the family. But the line was, he's talking to Riley and he's talking about his friend Bambi. Yeah, Bambi. And he says, I think Bambi's, I think she's got Asperger's. And she gets offended because she's like eating, and she gets offended. She looks at him and she goes, I ain't got Asperger's, I'm fucking Australian. So I always kid Rachel about that. I said, is that true? That you have no filters on your mind and you just say what comes to mind? And she's like, yeah, pretty much. And she does. some of our conversations have been quite colorful, and some of our recaps have been quite colorful as well. But yesterday I was having actually a bit of a meltdown because if I start getting emotional, don't hold it against me. It's liable to happen. But yesterday I was getting quite weepy. I had actually like 3 or 4 breakdowns at work, and then I got home here last night after having dinner, and I had another. I mean, I had like some massive cry outs yesterday. Part of it is the hormones, although it really isn't because I'm in what I call the middle part. Last Friday I took my shot. Next Friday I take my other shot. So my hormones are pretty much balanced about where they are. But still, all of you who are of the female persuasion out there, you all know what estrogen can do to us. It messes us up really bad emotionally. It's, as I've said before, it takes off all your emotional filters. It seems to, which is something guys don't understand because testosterone just kind of locks you down and makes you grumpy all the time, and whereas estrogen just sort of opens you up. So and ladies, you can tell your gentlemen friends that that you know someone who from experience has been on both sides of that hormonal line. And even though I was emotional before I transitioned, I also did a lot of things when I was testosterone laden that I wasn't quite proud of. I could get real angry real fast and just blurt things out and start punching things because you can't control your anger. But I would also get emotional where I would get weepy and cry, and I could see things that would just move me tremendously. And then I went on estrogen, and it was like the needle went boom, boom. It really was. And now, it's just like any other woman, I'd cry at the drop of a hat, or flip my bitch switch, and I'm off to the races. But yesterday I was just like a complete mess, and I know why I was a complete mess. And it was while I was working, I started thinking about a certain line that I've actually written in my novels. And I realized in that moment that it's the last thing that Annie and Carrie will ever say. So naturally, we're talking about around the time of their death, and it's the last thing they'll really ever say in any of the stories. See, I'm already starting, so get ready for this. This is going to be entertaining. Because this is what I was like yesterday. And I was thinking about their end simply because everything has to come to an end eventually. And I know with them, I've already plotted out their lives. And I do know how they're going to die. And I think the thing that was hitting me so hard was, am I going to be able to make it to their end? Because, let's face it, I'm not young. It's not like I started writing this when I was, say, 25 or 35. I actually started writing this when I was like 57 years old. I'm 59 now. I'll be 60 in almost 6 months. By the time the elections roll around, I'll be less than 6 months from my birthday. Yeah, 6 months. Boom. And I kept thinking about that. I was like, well, this is the last thing they're ever going to say, but am I actually ever going to be around to have them say it? I don't like thinking about endings. Actually, I was kind of feeling bad about knowing how their life is going to go. It won't always be easy. You know, that's the trouble. It's not always you walk off into the sunset and it's going to be happily ever after. They're going to have quite a few trials and tribulations, which shouldn't be confused with tribulations, as David Gerald would tell you. A few trials and tribulations through their lives, and it won't always be happy. But eventually, it'll all come to an end. And I started thinking too, I may at some point actually have to make videos of those final stories that I may want to tell that I may not ever be able to write, so that if someone else ever wants to write them, they can. I make it sound as if, developing some great best-selling series. Not, but I think it's important that at some point I tell people how it all ends. And I just want to make certain that I really am around to do that. Somebody would buy my books. You know, I could sit down and probably crank out a novel every, year if I had to. I've already seen I can pretty much write, 400,000 words, 300,000 words in about a year and a half. So even if you think about it at that rate, a year and a half, it would take me 5 years to finish the last 5 novels if I wrote nonstop. So even if I got around to doing that when I was 60, it would be 65 before I'd finish all of their school exploits. And then there are other things that happened to them in between that I've already thought out and put down in notes I have in my timeline. I guess this is where world building does come into play, because I know all this stuff. I have it all down in my head, and I have it all down ready to go. Sometimes these two characters affect me more than they should. And I think it's because I've basically been living their lives for about 5 years now. Well, almost living their lives. I don't quite have the same life as they do. This is a real treat for Saturday morning, isn't it? So, I've actually started making plans of creating some videos for what would be like the final stories. There's actually the final stories that would ever be told about them are actually going to be told from the point of 2 different people. So there's a little bit of trivia that if anyone ever asks, it won't actually be kind of written about them. It'll be recollections as told by other people, because I think that's how it should be done. It's hard to say. I know the penultimate story I want to tell would be kind of a combination of someone telling the story plus jumping back and forth and showing Annie and Carrie discussing what's going on. And then the final story that I'll ever tell, would ever be told about them, would be from the perspective of another individual, completely another individual. And I think I can do those. Don't know if I'll do them now, maybe in a year or so. Maybe I'll do them tomorrow, you never know. But I think they do need to be done. And I'll keep them in a safe, secure place. Probably in like several safe and secure places, so that, if anything ever happened, I'd be able to have access to them. Or somebody would. I'd have to tell people how to get to them. So maybe I'll put them up under my YouTube account, under a private setting, so that if something were to happen to me, somebody could get those, download them. They could play the videos of me talking about them, or they could even just transcribe them. Again, I make it sound like I'm writing, big ass bestseller. I can't even get a book cover made. So, I hope I haven't brought everybody down for Saturday. I think it's also the next scene in the current novel is going to be a tough scene for me to write. It's going to be hard. So, you're already thinking, oh, Jesus. If Cassidy's crying over the next scene in the book, it must be horrible. And we know Carrie's getting ready to leave for Paris. So you can probably extrapolate from the emotion I'm feeling that it has something to do with his parents. Yeah, a little bit of trivia, a little bit of spoilers there, but there's I will say this much about the next chapter. There's going to be a big surprise in this chapter. There will be a huge surprise, and it'll be that Annie's pregnant. No, it's not. She's not pregnant. Well, technically, those contraceptives that they get from school would have worn off by the time Annie and Carrie were out all alone in London. Could anything have happened? No. As I keep getting reminded, no, those kids have strong willpower, even though I was told a year ago, those kids have raging hormones, you shouldn't be letting them sleep together. And that's the funny part. It's like, when Annie and Carrie are together, oh no, they have this tremendous control. They would never do anything to each other. When Carrie and Emma are together, oh my God, they're gonna come together. Well, that's because, let's face it, Emma's a little bit of a crazy, she's a little bit of a crazy horn dog girl. She set her sights on her Ginger, and so far she's striking out like she's on the Mendoza line. She's way below that. So Carrie's made of sterner stuff, and Carrie is not interested in Emma. He never really has been interested in Emma. That's the thing. He only has one person in mind, one person in his heart, one person whom he is connected to for the rest of his life. Which is a good thing, because it's a good thing Annie isn't like some raging crazy bitch. Boy, that would be hard. That would just be like, oh my God. No. Or by the same token, Carrie isn't like some crazy, over-controlling, macho dude, I think Annie would just kill him and walk on. If she found out she was connected to someone like that, because Annie don't do macho well. I think we've already seen that. Carrie doesn't do bitchy well, and Annie doesn't do macho well. Although Annie is pretty cognizant of the fact that people do think that she is either a bitchy ice princess, a bitchy ice queen. There's actually, yeah, it's actually a line she's going to say to Carrie at some point um, in this current novel, actually. And she will say, some people think of me as a, bitchy ice queen. Others think of me as a spoiled, pampered princess or a spoiled, rich princess. You know me. You've touched my heart. What am I? And, Carrie will say, Carrie will say that you're a romantic, but you're also a little bit of those other two, and she'll agree with him, yeah, to certain people I am one, to certain people I am the other, but to you I'm everything. I'm who I really am. We are who we are, sometimes based upon the perceptions of the people around us. And we can't ever get away from that. Even if it isn't a true perception, it's a perception you can't shake. So, but a little existential writing. So, yeah. I gotta get this video uploaded. I ran over my 25-minute limit. I was only gonna go 20 minutes, and I said, I'll go 25 minutes, and now I'm creeping up on 27 right there. Yes, so the Cry Fest is went on today. I'm really sorry about crying like a... Wow, what should I almost said crying like a little girl. Oh, man, if things had been different, if I really had grown up like a little girl, I probably would have been crying all the time. Because I cried a lot as a little boy, let's face it. I did. Oh, I was always crying. So as a little girl, yeah, I probably. Oh God, I would have been one of those. I would have been one of those weepy teenage girls, or just totally emo or something. No, there wasn't like totally emo when I was in school. 70s emo. You didn't do emo. You didn't do emo. So I'm going to get going. Sorry for all the crying. Sorry for the rambling. But today, busy day. Hey, keep smiling out there. We all need that. So, take care. Peace. I'll see you around. Bye-bye.